Adam Levy in Brooklyn, New York, for D'Addario's sound advice. My friends at D'Addario asked me for my 5-minute practice essentials. In other words, if I had just 5 minutes a day to practice the guitar, how would I spend that time? So I want to share my answer with you. So if I had just 5 minutes a day to practice, I would divide that up into 4 sections, 3 1-minute sections and a 2-minute section. The first section, the first minute, I would spend warming up, but not in the way that you may be warming up now, where you play a scale in a position, or you do some kind of spidery chromatic exercise. I used to do those things. I see guitar players warming up like that. But if I just had 1 minute to warm up, the main objective for me is not so much the mechanical thing, but getting connected, hearing music in my head and connecting with it on the guitar. That's the kind of warm up that I would want to do if I had this limited time, especially. So one thing that I might do to do that would be to play up and down one string, play a major scale. So let's say we'll use the high E string, and we'll play an E major scale. The fingering you choose doesn't matter all that much for this exercise, because we're not needing to move fast. It's just about finding the notes. And I would do that a couple of times up and down, and then from there, I think we'll still have some time on the clock. I would play a melody, maybe Happy Birthday or some kind of nursery rhyme, something like something like that. It's harder than you might think to do that. Why are we doing this? Again, it's just about connecting. You take something that's way deep in the deepest part of your mind, because you've known it since you were a child, and you access it on the guitar. To me, that's more important than just getting your chops together. With 5 minutes a day, chops is not, for me anyway, wouldn't be the big priority. It would just be making music and feeling connected to the instrument. So each day you could do this on a different string. Some days you could do it in a major key. Other days maybe you pick something that's in a minor key. Like Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho or something like that. You could do this with a metronome so that you're playing in time. You could do it some days with a metronome, play in time, some days without a metronome, and still try to play in time. I don't think you need to have your metronome going every practice session, but it's good to have it going sometimes, and I think it's good to turn it off sometimes. Okay, now this is minute 2. This is our second segment of the practice routine. The next thing that I would do is focus on triads, specifically diatonic triads. And what that means, if you don't know the word diatonic, means we're taking the notes of a major scale and building a triad from each note of the scale. So let's say you've got a C major scale. I'll do it on the B string here. So we can build triads: C major, D minor, E minor, F, and you can see that C major scale that I played a moment ago. That's still going up the B string, but I'm building triads that That's the C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, B diminished, and then C again. For some of you, that's going to be a lot of work, maybe not something you can do in 1 minute right now. But I think that is time well spent, and you'll keep coming back to it, and every day it will get a little easier. When we play music, having access to those triads, those are the building blocks of bigger chords. Those are the building blocks of songs. I think it's really essential to know your triads all over the fretboard. So right there, I was doing it on strings 3, 2, 1. So some people would call this the first string set, because it's, you could say strings 1, 2, 3. That's string set 1. String set 2 would be strings 2, 3, 4. String set 3 is 3, 4, 5, and then string set 4 is 4, 5, 6. So assuming that you're playing your triads on neighboring strings, then there's 4 string sets. There's also 3 different inversions. Like this is a root position C triad, so you've got the root on the bottom. Those notes are C, E, G. And functionally they are root 3, 5 from the C major scale. So that could be a series of chords in root position. You could have the root, instead of being on the 3rd string, it could be on the 2nd string. So that's what I was doing a moment ago. We call this a second inversion. When you've got the 5th on the bottom of a triad, we call that second inversion. You can also have the root on the 1st string. When you've got the root up high and the 3rd on the bottom, we call that first inversion. If that's confusing, try not to think about it too much. It will make sense to you when it does. If we only have 5 minutes a day to practice, music theory might not be something that we have time for. So this is with the root on the high E string. So that's C, B diminished, A minor, G, F, E minor, D, C. And I would just run up and down a little bit, and then try, if you still have some time on the clock on your 1 minute routine, make a little chord progression. Make up a little bit of music. That's always good to incorporate in your practice routine. Create something. Now we're 2 minutes in. Wow, time is just flying. Now we are in the 3rd segment of our 5-minute routine. And this is going to be a 2-minute segment. And we're going to use that transcribing something. Now when I say transcribe, some people take that to mean literally putting something on paper. And with this limited time routine, we're not going to do that. What I mean is listen to something, use your ears, and figure out how to play it on the guitar. And in just 2 minutes, I would focus on one lick. Take a guitar solo that you really like, maybe one that you love, and focus in on one lick, something that you're really curious to get under your fingers, and spend 2 minutes figuring it out. You may not get it all together in 2 minutes, but come back to it tomorrow. Do what you can in 2 minutes and revisit it tomorrow. And if you need to spend another day or 2 or 3 at it, that's fine. It will feel really good when you actually get it together and when you can play along with whomever your favorite guitarist is, and when you can actually play along with them note for note, that's going to be a really good feeling. And then the next day you'll start fresh, and you could take another lick from the same solo, but you could also move on and take a lick from a different solo. Now, of course, guitar solos aren't the main focus for everybody. So if that's not where you're at and you don't want to spend 2 minutes working on a lick from a guitar solo, use that time instead to learn the chords from some song that you're currently infatuated with. In 2 minutes, maybe you only have time to figure out one section, like the verse or the intro or the bridge or whatever. That's fine. If it's a song that actually has guitar on it, do your best to figure out specifically what the guitar player is playing and how they played it. If it's a piano song, you can just approximate it, do your best to figure out what the chords are. And again, this might be something you can actually do in 2 minutes. You don't have to chart it out. It's just really a question of getting it on the guitar. Hear it, understand it if you can, and get it together on the guitar so that you can play along with the recording. So here we are now in the final minute of our 5-minute practice routine. And I'm going to suggest something that is going to leave many of you scratching your heads. And that is to put the guitar down. And you might say, wait a minute, I've only got 5 minutes a day to practice the guitar, and you want me to spend 20% of that time without a guitar in hand? Yes, exactly that. So then what are we going to do with this time, or this minute of precious time? We are going to journal. Get yourself a little notebook. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Get yourself a pen, pencil, crayon, whatever, and write down the things that you practiced today. Make note of any specific stuff, like which position you practiced something in, or what tempo, if you were using a metronome, which key, which string set, which inversion, which lick you transcribed, all of that stuff. It's really helpful. This is how you stay focused on your goals, and this is how you hold yourself accountable. And then tomorrow, when you start your 5-minute practice routine, as you're doing your warm-ups, you can glance at yesterday's journal entry and see where you were at, and use that as a launching point for today's practice session. You can pick up where you left off, or start something new, or however you like. Practice is self-directed. So these are my 5-minute practice essentials. Try it my way for a little while, and then if you want to adjust the recipe to your own taste, I think that's a perfectly good thing to do. Once again, for D'Addario Sound Advice here in Brooklyn, New York, I'm Adam Levy. Thanks for watching.